I've played a lot of From Software game demos over the years, and every demo is better than the last. But Sekiro is in a different category entirely. This game is 7 whole months away from release, and yet every input felt responsive, every death felt deserved, except this one, and I swear I didn't fall below 60 frames per second a single time. This game has so much potential, and I mean, you could see it in the faces of people around me playing at Gamescom. I watched other people play when I got the chance, and almost without fail, everyone did the same thing at the start. They see this green dot slide into view, and then they use their grappling hook over and over again, just speeding between rooftops and branches. Because you feel it right away, the freedom. You realize that in all the Souls games prior to this, the environments have controlled you. They restricted you, they guided you, but now you control the environment. It's your weapon to use against your enemies. It's your safe space to retreat and to heal. It's always like a jump or just a grapple away, and it's yours in an instant. That sense of control is what differentiates Sekiro, in my opinion, from every Souls-like game before it. And that grappling hook is just one small part of that control, because what's even more important is how responsive the character feels. Take this scene, for example. It's a good one. Think about all the inputs I'm putting in here. I managed to jump off this ledge, turn on a dime in midair, lock on and initiate a plunging attack on the soldier below me. My character just responded to a ton of button inputs, and as I continued playing, it felt like the only thing really holding me back were my own reflexes. That sense of control is what differentiates Sekiro from every Souls-like game before it, in my opinion. Another example is here, when this troll hurls me off a cliff. It was a really embarrassing moment because I was toying with him and just watching him take burn damage, but you see that green marker? If I had pressed L2 at this moment, I'm pretty sure I could have grappled back up to the troll, and man, if that had happened, I would be showing you an incredible clip instead of an embarrassing one. But I am getting ahead of myself. Before I was thrown off this cliff, I had to kill a ton of human enemies to get here, so let's go over the combat and how I fought my way to this point. So first, Sekiro has incredibly fast recovery times. There's barely any delay between attacking, blocking, and dodging, which, when you think about it, is really different from Souls. Because in Souls, you're forced to commit to long animations and long attacks, but in Sekiro, your animation sequencing is rapid, and your reflexes take the center stage. This leads us to the posture system. In Sekiro, you have no stamina. Actually, a better way of saying that is probably that you have infinite stamina. So this enables you and your enemies to attack, sprint, block, and roll to your heart's content. But it comes at a price, because instead of stamina, the resource you're managing is called posture, and at the bottom of the screen now, you can see my posture, and atop my enemies' heads, you can see their posture, or if they're a mini-boss, you can see it at the top in the middle of the screen. The goal is to completely fill an enemy's posture bar, which then knocks them off balance and enables a critical attack. You can fill their bar in 2 ways. First, you can test their defenses by attacking them with R1, or you can parry their attacks. There is no parry button, mind you. You just have to press the block button in the instant they would have hit you. The better you time it, the more they're knocked off balance, and the worse you time it, you won't take health damage, but you will take a big posture hit. So always remember, these same rules apply to your character, except when your posture is broken, your character gets knocked to the floor instead of being critically attacked. And when you see this neon pink Japanese character for danger pop up, that means the incoming attack can't be blocked. Instead, you can dash or you can jump out of the way. And yeah, there's actually 2 separate dodge buttons this time around. So dash is your faster option, it's what you're already familiar with, But sometimes you actually need to jump over an enemy's attack instead. Now jump is much slower, but you can block and you can also attack while you're jumping, in the middle of your jump, which is amazing for how fluid it makes the game feel. You can even jump off of enemies' heads and double jump on walls and all kinds of crazy stuff. So yeah, you get the hang of this pretty quick. It took me about 15 minutes before I stopped floundering and actually started playing well, but as you can probably tell, this is far more complex than any game that came before it, in my opinion. I'm really curious to see what the community thinks, because it's pretty unique to have to manage your health and your posture, and then also on top of that manage whether you're supposed to jump or dash out of the way when an enemy is attacking you. There's a lot of micromanagement in Sekiro, and it's fast-paced on top of that, so yeah, mismanaging anything could instantly lead to your death. But then one death doesn't matter that much in Sekiro, does it? You see that pink token in the bottom left, above our health? That token represents resurrection, and pressing your right bumper after death allows you to consume it and come back to life. Now, if you do enough damage after your resurrection, you can actually earn this token back, which allows you to resurrect a second time. And if you do enough damage after that, you can resurrect a third time, and so on and so forth, I assume. Of all the systems, From Software has repeatedly stated that they're really tweaking the resurrection mechanic to get it feeling right, and I have to wonder if there's a limit to how many times you can resurrect. I think, personally, the max I got was 3 before I died permanently. So yeah, I guess shadows can die more than twice, and we've yet to see how many times. Often, you'll die in a position which enables your stealth, a crouch, which is enabled when you press L3. So while you're undetected, you can, of course, initiate a critical strike whenever you see that glowing red lock-on icon. And if you're lucky enough to find some tall grass, you're pretty much completely invisible, as far as I can tell, as long as you don't enter the grass with a weapon that's on fire. Because if you do, then it'll set the whole field ablaze. And I did not expect that. That's something I can definitely see them incorporating into like a boss fight. Imagine hiding in the grass and then having enemies trying to burn you out. I think that'd be awesome. My flaming sword, speaking of which, was enabled with a prosthetic combo. So prosthetic combos are when you use your prosthetic trick weapon and combo it with an R1 attack with your katana. And this is a mechanic that you do not want to underestimate. It's so powerful. So there were 3 prosthetic weapons that you could use in this demo. There was the flame cannon, the shuriken arm, and the hand axe. And prosthetic attacks consume white spirit emblems, which is a resource that you get from enemies, and it's displayed down there in the bottom right. As I mentioned, you can combo your prosthetics with R1 to basically double their effectiveness. The flame cannon, for example, combos to buff your sword with fire. The shuriken arm combo is fantastic, way better than I expected. It pegs a shuriken and then it closes the gap with your katana in an instant. And the hand axe combo is basically an instant kill on any smaller enemy. It obliterates their posture and enables a critical attack. And one touch that I love is that enemies now jump back in fear when they see you performing a takedown on one of their allies, and I don't blame them, because some of these executions are brutal. And guys, I could honestly talk about my experience for hours, and I might honestly do that when I get home. I might stream this and talk about all the footage in crazy high detail, but right now it's 3 AM in my hotel. I still have to edit all this together, and my microphone is failing me, so I think I've explained everything that needs explaining, and I kind of expect you'll be able to puzzle out the rest from all the footage I'll be providing. And it's hard for me to express this without sounding generic, but there is so much I haven't talked about. There are a couple of incredible bosses that I'm not even allowed to talk about, and I wish I could rave about every little detail about this demo with you in person, because I've been lucky enough to have that experience with a couple of guys here at Gamescom, and It's so much fun talking about this game with other people who enjoy it as much as you do. If there are any gaming conventions near you in the next few months, I would highly recommend you check if Sekiro is one of the games that you can play there. It's one of the most polished demos I've played in my life. But before I go, I absolutely have to give special thanks to Activision, who made it well worth it for me to fly halfway across the world just to get some Sekiro footage and talk about it with you guys. Thanks especially to Joanna, Alexis, Allison, Tom, and Priya. They're the reason this video exists, and I'm hugely thankful. It's been a hell of an experience. I will have one more video on Sekiro to work on when I get home, I think. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Check out the other Sekiro video, which is basically just all my footage with all the raw music and sounds and everything without me talking over it in a tired voice. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.